So my camera timed out again. Anyway, I think I showed well enough how to finish by hand uh, on that last heat on the near side. You do the same thing on the far side, but if you don't, if you're not that good, or I don't know, if you want to make it perfect, you can use an aid like this tool. This I called it the goose. I showed it earlier, and I've got it set up in there. My piece is hot. I put cardboard in my tongs to protect the facets or the terrain of the piece that I was doing. I wet it, and the outside parts are burning off right now. It'll form charcoal eventually, but so this is set for a 1/4 inch, but I'll use a little piece of bar stock, and I'll get it in there. I usually go on the high diagonal, and I'll hit it. You can hit the flat. I'll hit the diagonal, then the quarter, or the whatever you call it, the eight side, you know, and then go around. And I'm hitting on the far edge and just lightly going around. Now I'll get it off, and yeah, this is not set for this size. It's about 5/16. But see, it neatens up right there at the base, where it's hard to get there with your hammer, especially with the curves of both your anvil and all that. But that'll get right in there, and just wanted to see it. I just got a little wedge in there. I don't know if you can see this. I'll go through it again. There's the wedge back here, and this is for doing different things. And I just have to loosen it up, get it out, and then this is just doubled back, 1 by 3/8 stock is what I used. And yeah, it looks kind of like a goose's head or a duck's head. I got a smaller one I call a duck, and it's just a spring puller. You can put different surfaces in here too. I'm not real keen on butchers, but you can do butchers. You can even I've relieved this end. You can put some pieces in there, get a half on, half off blow. But and you can use this part to set down also. That's why I left a little length. But just a simple little spring tool, the goose. I can make this one bigger. See how it's long? You can do it like this, a mushroom. Probably one of the easiest ways if you have a anvil that's mounted. Otherwise, you have to kind of put your leg in there. And see, it makes it shorter and thicker. I'm gonna go ahead and check that little pucker there, right down there, and I'll do a little bit more. This is kind of like a Maltese cross. You can do a 4-sided flower Maltese cross. They're real similar. Either one. And I'll go ahead and straighten that. Take that corner a little bit. This was round stock, so it's not got all that out. Now I can go even further, and I will on this, because the other one, this is a larger pad. It's about 3/4 plus maybe. This one was more a little minus 3/4. And yeah, I've got the what do you call it, charcoal in there that I wetted, and that's just to protect your train. Okay, I'm gonna go down with it a bit more, and I'll square make it. Well, this makes it a little more square also, and I'm gonna check my points here. I'm gonna go ahead and tilt it a little bit more this time. This is almost like you're doing it over the edge of the anvil, on the like you do, you know, in here. But I've got my little fence up there right now, so. And you know, sometimes I'll do the diagonals, you know, just feel. Come down, you know, diagonals, diagonals. And now I'll just lay out my chisel marks. Yeah, this is different than what I normally do. I mean, I've done this many, many times. You know, the firemen would come to the where I used to work, Mission San Juan Capistrano, and you know, the Maltese cross is common. So. You know, that's just half on, half off, just making mark. It's cool. And you know, it's still warm. I can go deeper just so I can feel more. And you know, you don't really have to meet exactly in the middle. It's nice if you can or do, but as long as you don't cross over too much, you're going to put a hole in that. So, you know. Anyway, I'll heat it up and do it some more. Yeah, I just saw that I wasn't in focus or in the right spot. I don't know. I can't check my video without making a new video. So I apologize for that. I've already done this a different handle, but I messed up too many times on that video, and so I'm redoing it with a different end, but just to give some variety. But yeah, I didn't realize it was out of frame. I think of where I was last time. Anyway, half on, half off. And yes, don't go to your anvil. It's you don't want to hit your anvil. I don't like cutting them off either. It wouldn't matter on something like this that goes on a door or something, you know, or a cabinet, whatever, because you wouldn't be. It'd be against wood, where you wouldn't be scratching yourself or you know sharp burrs. But if you were to put this on some jewelry or something, I'm just extending that. This I'll make a little deeper. Just looking at. Well, you know, that does look like a Maltese cross just like it is. And you can leave it like that. Or you can do what I did in the last one. You know, that's just the center punch mark. And I'll heat it up. And it'll kind of expand everything. So, and then if I want a fuller, I'll, you know, start fullering with a round fuller. But, yeah. Okay. I'll go ahead and brush it so you can see it. That just reminded me of grabbing that brush. There's a Maltese cross on there, or flower, whichever you want to call it. Can you see this? I'm going to go ahead and go deeper. But it spreads that out a little bit. When you're doing tighter flowers, a lot of times I definitely, you know, use that. so when I insert my fullers, I don't cross over the lines. So I'm laying out these marks now too, and I'm gonna go ahead and centerize that one a little bit more. And I can get them a little deeper. There's more heat than it seems in this, but it's good to have a feel, and then you can find at the hot temperatures, you can feel instead of try and locate them by sight, and helps a lot. Okay, I'll go ahead and brush back, especially. So, and you can get your piece off the handle a little bit just by dipping your knees down. And look, see what you did. You want to kind of keep track. This one I'll actually do now, but I don't do it as much. Now, well, there's a few things you can if you do more to your advantage, actually, for certain things. But maybe I'll put this on the members only. I'm talking too much. But there's a lot of little subtle stuff that can really help you. I'm going to go ahead and finish this. These are finishing blows. Just I'm going to get that scale out of that one. Now this was 5/8 round stock, and the one that's on my brush is out of 3/4 square stock. This was 3 inches long. That one was a little less than 4 inches long. That made this handle, but you know, I went rectangular with this part, and I'll measure later. I can go ahead and I don't have to spread that out. I can. I guess I will. You know, reintroduce my center punch, or it's a round pointy punch is what it is, but I don't have to drill that hole, but I will reintroduce it and just watch to see that the petals move a little bit. Yeah, I'll brush it on this final hit here. I don't always give these life either, like I would other ones. I don't know if you saw. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it. Hit it one more time. Okay. And there's a 4-sided flower or Maltese cross, you know. And this was square stock. You can see where I didn't check the sides, left the points. It forged 2-side taper, leaves you on a diamond, just like this did. And yeah, those have bigger ledges because I took this down smaller than that. And I'll take it to my jigs at the vise. I almost forgot. I was going to measure this too. That's just ash. I put it in my fire to heat it up. But the end of it's right down here. I'm not going to take that off right now. But it's a bit over 7 inches long. Started out 3 inches long, and you know, there's about 1.5 inches in here, 1.5 inches in this. So. Okay, here I go to my vise. I'm taking another pair of tongs. I took my tong clip off. I do have to see my terrain, so I know where it is, because I have got a quarter twist, or not a quarter twist. They were on different shoulders, so I'll twist it as I do this. And here I go. I'm going to put the copper vise on the terrain, and there's my. I'll twist this and pull, and I'm going to go past 90, well past 90. You want to do this very quick. Get that off. I need to cool this all the way to the bend right there, and leave the flour hot, and put this back in the copper jaw here. And this is where, and now to give a sudden bend. Oh, nope, too slow. And I cooled off too much too. So look here, it's bending back here. This got too cool. This got too cool right here, and I wanted a sudden bend. Now this is, I wanted to show you this because you see this. This is kind of the type of bend that I was going for, except a little more extreme that I do sometimes for handles. You see, that's a tape, or I don't know what you call it, but there's a lot more bend here, and I put even more on this one. But what I was going to refer to last time, as I was last heat when I was fullering here, I could have fullered heavily right here on that one and reduce that. You see the thickness that it is in relation to that, and then it is also wider. So you need a heat localized and intense to be able to bend that. This is stronger than right there, and this, the very joint is stronger than right on the other side of it. So localization of the heat is necessary. And yeah, that's why it bent back here, because it's all stronger there. I'll take that bend out. Oh, I don't have to take the bend out, but I can reheat this. It didn't unbend this or anything like that. It didn't mess with that. And I'll just go right to my vise with a short heat. But I could have fullered that, or right there too, and made it an easy bend. And I know about that. That's why I was trying to mention, but it's hard to explain without lots of examples. And yeah, this is probably not the best place to be doing this, but anyway, I'll get another heat. So here I go again. I am going to cool the bend off, even though it's not real hot. But I do want to cool that bend off. The flour is hot, and you see that? So cool right at the bend off, but not that, right at the thing. And yeah, do this real quick. Okay, yep. That's, and I'm gonna go past even more. And you gotta watch this. You know, you can't touch that, so that's why it was sticking up a little bit. And that's your limit. I usually pay attention to this also. But yeah, but there's no need, because that gets unbent. Now, one way, and I used to do this a lot also for making handles, is of course you can put this in. I put the copper jaw on that side, and and you can actually hammer with a hammer, you know, while you're holding this other, and make bends also. But when you have to do a lot of cabinetry or whatever and make consistent bends over and over, I've come up with that's just copper jaw. I don't need that. I've come up with some different jigs. I'm going to show you this over on the anvil now. So let me just get a few more out, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so these are some of the jigs. This is one that used to fit an old vise that Lyle had in Mississippi, his grandfather's, and narrower jaws. But this was curved this way, a little bit different than this. But these I've either chiseled or cut with a zip wheel. and you make a radius. And this is how I make the what do you call it, curves on these racks. I've had to do a lot of racks for different facilities that wanted these striking animals and stands, and to repeat them, you get the measurement and what you need, and you do the bends, and it's just two different bends that I use for them. You right or left-handed, and well, let me get this other one out. See, here's the other one, but yeah, you make it real simple and repeatable, and that's back when I was doing this for a living and did a lot of hardware. Handles, cabinet handles, especially the small ones. You've got to do a lot of those in a house, and to be able to repeat the same bend and all, you make a mark how far you want to go, and you can make all kinds of different bends. These are two different bends. Sometimes you make the same bend, of course, for normal cabinets. I like this for the brush. But that's all it is. A very simple do-it-yourself jig. There's not too many people's made these. I think Ed's made some, but I don't think. I don't know, Daniel Leah. He did the handles. I don't know if he actually ended up making them or not. But yeah, if you have to do a lot, you'll want some kind of a consistent way of bending, and that's what I came up with a long time ago before I got around blacksmith. So I'm just gonna put a heavy fuller mark on this one, and I might have to change other ones. I'm not going to unbend it just yet. I could have gone over there and but it's probably not the best one to do a heavier fuller mark right there. I'm going to go ahead and match these up because it's too thick. I left these pretty thick, but I'll show you another thing that will make your bend easier. Now you can do these with the right heat. Yes, for sure, especially with 1/4 inch. Now this is just a little proud 1/4 inch, right around 5/16, maybe just shy. I'm just going to do that again. I'll go ahead and I'm not going to heat it back up, but I'll make the center punch mark or round pointy punch mark more right there, where it's got the actual point in the center without being pushed. Yeah, so see the bend here, definitely not the way. Now I can make this all kinds of handles. You could do matching bends, but yeah, I'm not going to straighten out here. I'll just take it to my what I had set up over there, and I'll just bring it around. Now I could fuller let me see. Now you can make a fuller mark like right in here, and that would act similar to that difference right there in the thickness of the metal, and would allow you to bend very easily with minimal heat quickly, without having to reheat. Now I can come and reheat just like I did this, and that's simple. But normally, like with the 1/4 inch ones, I'm doing it all in one swoop, where I take it to a certain thing and I put it in, and it, cool it off and unbend or do the second bend, and and yeah, you get pretty good at it. You do a few. It doesn't take 10 to get real good. It teaches you a lot doing this type of stuff. So anyway, I'll go put it on my jig again, and Yeah, it will not bend so easy there. It would bend, that's what I want to show you too. It would bend more likely at the pedal right there. Not here, because it's thicker and it's got the width, but probably the shallower part, that's where it would probably bend, you know, uh, unless you have it locked in, which that's what I do also. But there's other things. I mean, I can show you another type of a bend where there's so many different little variations you have. I've done what do you call them, thumb latches and things like that, and they definitely have a high arch here where you're grabbing the latch, thumb latch here. So, and I like that look too. But anyway, I'll get done with this guy and ask some questions. Okay, I got a real short heat on this. I bent it on my jig, and then for a short heat, I'm gonna grab it right here. And I could quench, but it's a short heat. I don't really need to. I'm gonna put that right in my vise, right there, and then take it and look at the line. And yeah, you can look here to see if it's in line here, and adjust while you're there. But yeah, usually I stand square and everything. I'm trying to avoid getting in front of the camera. And that's that. Now, let me bring it back to the anvil. Okay, so I'll go ahead and brush a little bit. It's too cold to do anything now, but if I did have everything set up where the camera could just follow me without me having to do it, I'd come right to the anvil and do a very minor adjustment, and I'll show you that. I'm just going to get it clean just a little bit so you see it better. So, yeah, mainly the back. All right, I can see. You can't see this. Let's see if I can turn it where you can. Which side? Is this side better? I think maybe. Okay, so there's a gap here. That means it's not. And then there's a gap under this side. So basically, what you do is you'd hold this, and with a little bit of heat, you hold this down. And I need a wider anvil, but I just tap, and yeah, with something like wood. Don't hit it with your hammer. You can do either one. Hold either one and do your tapping. It just depends on which one is how. Like this one's up, so you basically tap down and hold this right here. You can also use the wood. I've got a stump over here, it's like right there. But, this time you can put that down and hit, and then once you get them, you put it, if you're flat, you put it, and you just give it a tap. Sometimes you hit here, sometimes here, wherever. You just judge it by what you got, and you'll learn to do it right over there at the vise the first time. It doesn't take long to figure these things out. Anyway, I'll adjust it, and I'll clean it up and give a final picture. I've got another one in the house I'll go grab, in different style flowers. So I'll be back. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Yeah, sometimes I've used my brush. You know, if I didn't have a wood thing, you know, just that's it. You know, but yeah, you got a little wood mallet, rawhide mallet, whatever, and you know, I don't know, it's pretty simple work. But yeah, I'll get them cleaned up and give you a picture. All right, there's the handle I just made. You know, made that one the other day. The video uh, messed up on that, but um, and yeah, that's a long time ago. This 3/4 square stock, about a little less than 4 inches. This was 3.5, I believe. Yeah, uh, half-inch square stock, and this was 3 inches of 5/16. Uh, I mean 5/8 round stock. Yeah, but I've made tools for the power hammer also. Back when I first got around power hammers at Tom Clark's, when he was gone, Pakistan, I'd make all kinds of tooling for the power hammers. And yeah, the hardware is one of the first things. You know, if you ever wanted to make a living at this is good money in hardware, drawers, pulls, knobs, things like that, kitchen, bathroom type of stuff, and you know hinges and things like that too. But the handles and stuff is what you know uh, they want a lot of for the different rooms and things. But yeah, thank you.